quickly what my bank balances are, what the debtors, creditors, inventory, job costing, job quoting, fixed assets, sales orders, purchase orders, and sales figures are all about. So a quick snapshot of where the business is actually at. And that was something that they were able to add on just by using the Crystal report writing tool. Okay, so let's change hats and go over to our debtors side of things now, and I'll just bring up a standard debtor, and we'll just have a look at some of the information in here. I'm not sure if I've got internet connection or not, but a couple of things that we can talk about. We can have a street address and a postal address, and we have the little Google sign. This is part of our technology that's integrating with other tools. I could click on there, and it will bring up my web browser, and if I'm connected to the web, it will actually do a Google lookup. Oh, there it goes. So it's actually finding where that particular customer is on our Google map. So pretty neat for people that need to be able to look up that sort of information. And that's the sort of the stuff that we're starting to extend. We also do technology stuff in terms of VoIP, voice over IP. A lot of people's phone systems are now changing to digital and voice over IP. So I can actually click this button here, the telephone button, and it will actually bring up my VoIP telephone and start dialing out. Actually, I better hang up on that. I was doing a demo the other day and somebody answered before I hung up. It was most embarrassing, so you've got to watch what your phone numbers and stuff are. The other thing about this VoIP stuff is that certainly the girls in our office don't like using this style of phone, so they actually have a physical phone just like the old style physical phone. But the software works just as well with that as it does with this phone on your computer. So really neat technology. Some of the other stuff that we can have multiple contacts in Triumph, so you can add any number of contacts to a particular account, a job, a debtor, a creditor, etc. There's a bunch of operational information that helps you work with the system. There's a lot to do about, each form you can nominate how you want to send it out to the customer. Like in this case here, it's a receipt, and I don't normally do receipts, but this customer's a bit finicky about when he sends his money in. So we've ticked to say that we want to email him a receipt as soon as we receive some money, so he's happy that we've now put it into our system. We can have parents and children type structures, which are more complicated, we spoke about before. Other information about banking, sales order entry interfaces, the web interface, and another ability to have LinkedIn documents. So it's quite document central, a little more CRM type of stuff built in. And on the job side, I might have my contracts linked in there so people can go to the one place and link it up. I might have correspondence with this customer linked into here, so making it pretty convenient. Within Triumph, it's very consistent the way we've written it, so you'll find with all modules, they pretty much work the same way. So I bring up my customer, I then want to drill down and have a look at some more figures. In this case, it's the balances, 30, 60, 90 day. And I can look at all those. I can then drill down to the transactions, and I can have a look at what's happening at the transaction level. We, at the top there, we actually have, if I just make that a little bit smaller, yeah, that's it. We have transactions that are currently outstanding. We have transactions for history, so you can nominate how long you want to keep your old history for, and we have transactions for future. And all the future is that in a real-time processing system, you don't want to have to wait doing your normal processes while the accounts people catch up. So you just want to go hammering the sales, hammering the orders, or hammering the jobs, or whatever it is. So in Triumph, you just go ahead and do that because it doesn't matter. It'll all just get recorded after the current month. And then when the accounts people catch up, they can roll over everything, and the future will then roll into current. But in the meantime, we're all moving ahead. Obviously, you can drill into any of those transactions. So we could reprint an invoice. If I wanted to just have a look at an invoice, I can just bring it up and just do a quick preview. And again, that's in Crystal, so that can all be customized. And if I wanted to, I can then hit what's called an event inquiry. So on that particular invoice, I'm not sure where it got posted in the GL. So if I do the event inquiry, again, it actually shows me the debits and credits that got posted with this particular transaction. So it doesn't matter which ledger or what you're looking at, you can always find out very easily where things are getting posted. Okay. The other one while we're here is if I call up because we also cater quite well for foreign currency, so if I call up a foreign currency debtor and do the same sort of thing and just drill down, the first thing you'll notice is you get a little radio button at the top here that says, are you going to look at it in the customer's currency, or you're going to look at it in the base currency. And as I flick, it'll automatically flick the balances for you. And the same thing when I drill down to the transactions, it then gives me the same ability, so I can see the transaction in US dollars, or I can see the transaction in base Australian currency dollars. And with the foreign currency, as invoices or payments are applied against receipt, we take up the gain and loss. So we provide two reports. We provide an unrealised gain and loss, and we provide a realised gain and loss report as well. From debtors, I'm just going to move into sales order entry. And if we just have a look at a sales order entry process, I'm just going to go in and bring up a transaction. This is where you can add, in our particular system, added functionality such as picking slips. You might want to have confirmed picking slips, so when the guys go out the back, they might not have 1 kilo bags, but they might have 5 kilo bags of the same thing, so they can do substitutions or replacements of what was originally asked for. Then they can deliver it, and then they can invoice it. And if I call up an order and just have a look at that particular order and then go down to the transactions, I can actually see each of the different steps that's occurred. So I've had a picking slip produced, somebody's gone and confirmed everything that was on there, they've then gone and delivered that, and finally they've gone and invoiced it as well. Yep. But any of those things I could reprint them if I wanted to. If I realised somebody had made a mistake, then I can actually cancel that document and then redo it if I needed to. Okay. One of the things I want to show you today is we're just going to put in a new sales order for a customer, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in a stock item 7909 over here, which we've got 499 of them on hand, and I'm going to request that we want 600 of them. Okay. So immediately the system knows that it can reserve 499 because that's how many we have in stock that are free at the moment. Yep. But it still has to get 101 of them in. Okay. And because I have the purchase requisitioning module linked in, it's ticked this box that says it's going to requisition them. So what happens is the sales guy's taking the phone order. He doesn't have to think too hard about what's going on. He just has to know that that box is ticked. Somebody else is going to be responsible for purchasing those in. So no, you don't have to write it down on a piece of paper and hope that it's not lost and hope that somebody follows it through. It's just a matter of ticking the box. And if I have a look at this requisition line here, it actually allows me, and if the sales guy was diligent enough, or that's part of your procedure, he could have actually rung up and found out who the supplier was and actually gone and put the supplier and the price in there. Or we can just leave it blank and we can let the purchasing guy do that, which is what we're going to do. Because we also have the stock transfer module, I can actually say, well, actually, I don't need to purchase it. I can just request from the warehouse that I want to get those items in. So we could actually make it a purchase or a transfer request. The last one to show you there is that we actually do have a purchase order, this P1001, for 1,000 items that are free. So technically, and there's different ways that the system can do this, I can actually ask it to allocate that automatically. Okay, so normally you would, because you wouldn't want to purchase stuff that you already had coming in on a purchase order. But in this particular case, I've asked it not to do that because it's going to make our demonstration a bit superfluous. So what we're going to do is actually go and purchase that in. If I click the OK button, it will actually save that order. It will raise a purchase request for that stock to come in. I'm actually just going to cut back to our slideshow and just explain that a little bit more because it's easier to see on the screen. What we've got is customer back orders. We've got purchase orders, and we want to have some glue in the middle that allows us to go from one to the other, and that's what we call purchase requisitions. So customer order feeds into purchase requisition, it feeds in to create purchase orders, the goods come back and it knows that it's for that particular customer, so it feeds back. In bigger systems like ours, they're also extended, so if we have this purchase requisitioning glue in the middle, we can start with a stock reorder report. There's no point having to rekey that and do that manually. Let's have a stock reorder report and get that to feed into our purchasing system. So much easier. And this is what we call back-to-back or 360-degree ordering. And of course, the goods come back, they go into stock. We can have the job quoting environment where I have a quote first and I detail everything that's required for that job. When I win the contract, it knows exactly what I don't have and what I do have and what needs to be purchased. Again, it's going to feed into my purchase requisitioning system. And obviously when the goods come in, they get allocated to that particular job. Yep.